Hey, Vinyl community, it is Jeff Witcher again, and I have part two of our Deep Purple Top 10. I've got Aaron and Chris back with me. We are on our number 6 pick for our Deep Purple Top 10, and Aaron has the honors of showing us his number 6 first.
All right. So for number 6, from this album, Highway Star. I know it's overplayed, but every time I hear it, if I'm driving in my car, I'm like 15 miles over the speed limit and nothing flat. I just love the driving nature of it, and it's just keeps going. I just love it.
It's a great driving song.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I'm always driving for work, and I hear it a lot. And every time it comes on the radio, I crank it up, even though I've heard it a million times. So I couldn't leave that one off.
Didn't Metal Church cover that song?
I'm not sure. I only have one Metal Church record.
I want to say Metal Church covered that song, but again, I sometimes say things that are not right. But we'll check on that later. We'll check on it later. That's a great song, man.
Yeah.
My number 6, I'm going with the title track, Stormbringer. What I like about this song, I was listening to it tonight. This sounds like a Rainbow song. Like the direction that Rainbow was going in. It sort of has that mystic feeling to it. David Coverdale and Glenn Hughes doing some great vocals on it. Great keyboards from John Lord. It's just an amazing song. Love the title track, Stormbringer.
Great choice.
All right. Number 6, gonna go back to this one for Child in Time. Love that track. I love how it starts off very slow. You just have the dun dun dun, then the keyboard, and then like the middle of that song. I mean, it just like tears the top off your head. You got Richie Blackmore, like there's got to be like smoke coming off his fretboard. He's just wailing on the guitar, and everybody like gets a chance to shine on that song. But it is just so great, and it just starts slow. It's a great travel song because you start here and then it goes up, and there's so many peaks and valleys in that song, and then it's just a journey from start to finish. But absolutely love that track, so I had to put it on my list.
Nice.
Great choice.
Song. Great song.
All right, number 5.
I love how we're all being quiet about it because we don't want to
It's because it might be on
our
my list.
Cards close to the vest. Yeah.
We're like, yeah, Jeff, that's great. That's a great song. Yep.
Yeah. So number 5.
Yep.
From Fireball, No One Came. That's why I was quiet earlier when you were talking about it.
Nice.
Yeah, I love No One Came, and to me, it almost has a grunge sound to it. It almost like where grunge came from, I think. It's just that gritty. Oh man, I just love it. And those lyrics.
It's a great song. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
I love that. I love how it's down on your list. That's great. It's a great song.
Oh yeah, that was a no-brainer for me putting that. My top 5 was real easy. And then there's all the rest of them that were hard. So.
Well, it's funny because I think anybody who's watching this who doesn't know Deep Purple, they're like, okay, well, I got to get Fireball and then rock. I'm good. So, my 5, I'm going with Space Truckin'. I just have always loved that song. The guitar riff is great. The band just, rips on the whole song. And when the chorus comes on, I was listening to it today on the ride home. I'm like singing Space Truckin' in the car, and I'm like, probably going faster than I should be going. And I don't know, I just never get tired of hearing that song. And I like it better than Smoke on the Water. I mean, I know Smoke on the Water is a classic, but for whatever reason, I like Space Truckin' better. But,
I get it.
Got a killer riff. I mean, Smoke on the Water is awesome too, but yeah.
I always hear Space Ace Truckin' in my head now, though.
Yeah, does he do that on his latest album?
Yeah, that's what he says that in it, so.
Yeah, I got to listen to that album more. I haven't.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, my number 5, I thought I'd grab this. I thought the CD was in reach, but it's not. But I go Woman from Tokyo. Again, the first song that I ever fell in love with from Deep Purple, first song I ever heard. and just a fabulous track. Yeah, thanks, Aaron. Absolutely great album. And that song to me is every bit as good as Smoke on the Water. It's every bit as iconic, and I love it. It's a song I could never get tired of. I could just play it on loop over and over again. And I wanted to put it higher, but just the other songs on the list I loved more. But I'm glad you guys are also including some of those, like the radio hits. We've heard them 100 times. I still love it. I couldn't keep it off my list.
Yeah.
Great one.
All right, number 4.
Number 4 from Big Surprise, Hard Loving Man.
Great song.
I love that. This first song really that I know of that has a galloping guitar, which Iron Maiden kind of and a lot of bands copied. And it's kind of, I thought this album and Fireball, they had a bunch of songs that kind of a bunch of different subgenres of metal came out of, and that's one of them. Hard Loving Man. Love that song. Great one.
Yeah.
That's my 4.
I mean, I'm really surprised that In Rock is not mentioned more.
Me too.
A precursor to heavy metal. People always associate Deep Purple with the bluesy side, which it was, but you're right. I mean, In Rock has so many different genres of metal on there.
And Fireball, both of them.
Yeah, and I know Lars from Metallica always loved Deep Purple.
Mm-hmm.
So that they probably influenced their sound as well.
Yeah, no question.
All right, so my number 4 is coming off that album as well. And I'm putting Speed King on there. I got to, And my notes here, I mean, Ian Gillan's screaming like a banshee in this song. It's heavy metal, man. This is a heavy metal song.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's got this laid back instrumental in the middle where like John Lord and Richie Blackmore are sort of playing call and answer sort of thing. And then it kicks back into the song again. But I mean, dude, it's a heavy metal song. But I just want to show something because I keep showing CDs. I know this is the vinyl community. Aaron's like showing all of his vinyl. He's got this is the only Deep Purple album I have, made in Europe.
That's a really good one too.
Was this a record store day release? Because it's on purple vinyl. I don't know, but
looks like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great live album. Burn, Lady Double Dealer, You Fool No One, Stormbringer. But I need to get more Deep Purple on vinyl. But I just wanted to show the vinyl community. I do have Deep Purple vinyl, but everybody knows I still buy CDs though too. So.
Yeah, I don't think there's any shame in owning CDs. I mean, I have a ton of CDs that I listen to. I just have trouble finding Deep Purple vinyl in the wild, and I don't want to pay a fortune for it, on eBay or Discog. Right. So I'm always waiting when I walk into the record store and see a pristine copy of Fireball, on the record bins or something like that. But it hasn't happened yet. But
did they reissue Fireball on like 180 gram?
Yeah, that's what I have here. And they put Demon's Eye instead of Strange Kind of Woman, so it's cool. So I have an older copy with Strange Kind of Woman and then this newer one. And it's on just black. But most of my other ones are on purple wax, most of my newer ones.
So that's the UK version then, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was so happy when I got this.
Oh, so Strange Kind of Woman's not on that, but Demon's Eye is.
Yes. And Strange Kind of Woman is on the US release and Demon's Eye is not.
And Anyone's Daughter is still on the UK?
Oh, yeah. Both, yes.
Okay. All right. So I think I said something wrong earlier in the video, but all right, I might have to pick that up. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
My number 4, going back to Machine Head, Highway Star, just a killer opening track. I mean, I'm not going to say anything that we haven't already talked about. Great driving track, just love it. And, there was no way that wasn't going to make my top 5. So I'm glad we're all in agreement about that.
Yep. Great song.
We should have almost said, all right, we're doing a top 10, but you can't pick Space Truck.
Yeah. Highway Star, Smoke on the Water, Woman from Mexico. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're down to number 3, our top 3.
Number 3. Well,
I wonder what album it's going to be from.
Light of the Rat.
Oh, that's a good song.
That song is a beast. It is so long, and then the drumming, at the very end, it just slays me. It's I just love it. And it's the lyrics of it. It's crazy. The lyrics of Flight of the Rat is a whole column here. It's like
Nice.
all the rest of them. Yeah, and it's just I love it. Flight of the Rat. It's just
I don't think
like
I've ever seen. I've never seen the inside of that album. That's cool.
yeah. It's got a it's right there.
That's another one I gotta get.
Yeah, and yeah, and this is a European version with the intro to Speed King.
Nice.
That big killer intro. I love that. But yeah, Flight of the Rat, it's like a progressive metal song almost. It's like the start of progressive metal. If you listen to it, I love it. So that's my 3.
So far, sales of In Rock and Fireball have gone up. Downloads for the 3 people who are watching this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this is actually kind of getting funny.
Yeah.
My number 3 is off of Fireball. It's the title track, Fireball. I mean, one of us has mentioned this already, or both of us have mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
Another freaking heavy metal song. Ian Gillan screaming again. I mean, it's just, I mean, how can you not like the song? It opens up the album. I don't know. It's a killer song. That's why we all have it in our list. I think we all do. I know Jeff did. Did you have Fireball on there?
Yeah, it was one early missed. That and Speed King were like high for 11 for me. Yeah. There's just so many good ones.
This is just so funny. Well, okay. I wonder what album Jeff's going to show.
Number 3, I had to go with Fools.
Oh yeah.
Fools.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's the longest track on here. But again, I love the fact that it starts off quiet and then it kicks up again. You got that section where it just sort of like trails off and you're like, where is this going? It's like uncharted territory, and then they reel it back in, and you got the cool riff. I've just always been in love with that song. It's my favorite song off of Fireball, and I think the world of it. But
I always wondered why I mean, that song is, I'm just looking at it now, it's over 8 minutes long. I wonder why they just let it meander like that. I mean, I love the song. It's almost, you wonder like if they just needed to fill in space, or if they were just having fun with it. But I agree with it. It's a cool song, but it's definitely interesting that it's over 8 minutes long.
Yeah, they didn't write enough songs for the album, so like, we got to stretch one of them out. We'll pick that one, and but I think it works.
A great song. Isn't there like a shaker in that, a maraca or something? Like
that? It almost sounds. I feel like it's almost like a Native American tribal, ceremony or something when it goes off into that with the shaker and all that. But I love it. It's like it sounds like real proggy, and I think it's real cool.
Great.
That's why they only put one of them, Demon Eye or Strange Kind of Woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's my favorite album by them.
It's right there for me too.
All right, number 2.
I'm up.
Yep.
Well, it's a Fireball. My number 2 is The Mule. I love The Mule. Yeah. That just that whole instrumental part, the whole second half of it just is so killer. It just it goes on and on and on, and love it. Great instrumental stuff. Great singing at the beginning. Not a lot of lyrics, but here's the inside if you haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I need to get that.
Yeah, it's a good one. So Mule for me, number 2.
My wallet is not liking you, Aaron.
Yeah, I tend to like those big epic songs they do.
Yeah, well, The Mule was number 10 for me, but I probably easily could have moved it up. I probably should have put it before Hush, but
they're all good.
They're all good. All right, my number 2. Well, it's not off of In Rock or Fireball, so but it's the title track, Burn.
Great song.
It's just awesome. And I think like what Jeff was mentioning before, it was like a kick in the ass for Deep Purple, because who do we think we are? I think it's the weakest of the Ian Gillan albums in the classic years. I mean, it's still an amazing album, but this album does not compare anything to Fireball or In Rock or Machine Head. So I think they were almost sort of like running out of steam, running out of ideas, and then you got some new blood in with Coverdale. Hughes, and you know, the song "Burn" is just amazing. So,
Yep, it made my list. Great song.
Well, funnily enough, I'm going to Burn for my second selection, and I got to go with Mistreated. I just love it. Such a dirty, slow, you know, grinding kind of blues. I think David Coverdale's vocal on it is just so fantastic. And I love it. You know, I love that they were able to go into that territory with David Coverdale, and it can't get enough of that song. I really love it. I mean, you know, I'm a big fan of Led Zeppelin and all their blues stuff, but you know, for me, this one is top shelf also.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was
okay.
late to this album too. It's really good stuff, though. I mean, Coverdale, just an amazing vocalist.
Yeah, no, and people, you know, they just think, oh, David Coverdale, Whitesnake, but they forget he was in Deep Purple for a couple albums, and you know, just a great vocalist.
Yeah,
he's been.
his solo records are good too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
All right, number one.
Great. Number one, you'll never guess what album it's from. In Rock.
In Rock.
Child in Time. Child in Time's my favorite. To me, it's just those lyrics, you know, wait for the ricochet, all that. And then the great progressive part towards the end. And then it goes back into the first vocal part. And then the end almost has a progressive part too, the keyboards and the guitar at the very end. And I'm just a huge fan of Child in Time. And that screaming he does is almost like the different stages of grief you're going through when he does that screaming buildup. And I've talked about that before, but it blows me away. And if you listen to that, you can't hear that and not think of Rob Halford and his screaming vocals that he came up with a couple years later. To me, I think it's a big influence on heavy metal, and just an amazing song.
Yeah, you can't hear that song and not be moved. I literally get goosebumps when I listen to that song, and there's very few songs where it, you know, I get that emotional over it, but that is one of them. It's just so, you know, it's like the zenith of that album. It's so good.
And it opens up with that iconic keyboard.
Oh yeah.
You know.
John Lord's my favorite keyboard ever. I love his work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron, you had a good choice. My number one is Child in Time as well. Off of In Rock.
Right. We're in sync.
Yeah, it's always been my favorite Deep Purple song. I mean, and everything you guys have said, it's just you know, it's epic. It's a journey. Ian Gillan's vocals are otherworldly. I think a lot of people, like you were saying, Rob Halford, I think a lot of vocalists learned from Ian, and you know, he was just you know, that the whole band is on fire on that song, and you know, it's epic, and it'll always be my number one.
Me too.
Good. All right, and my number one from I'm just kidding.
Off of Bananas.
That's a good album.
That is a good album. Battle Rages On, yeah.
Yeah, well, I had to shake it up because it's, you know.
Well, wait, Jeff, didn't Anne Murray cover some Deep Purple songs?
Well, it was either going to be that or, you know, it was going to be, you know, Slaves and Masters. I was going to whip out and be like, but yeah, well, and I feel like you know, this song hasn't been mentioned on either of your lists, so I'm feeling a little bit about it now. But Flight of the Rat.
I think no, Aaron mentioned it.
Oh, okay.
That's my number 3.
Oh, is it? Okay, all right. Yep. I love it. It's hard driving. It's a boogie rock masterpiece. Everybody gets to shine in the sun. And I love that, like at the end, the drum solo where it's just slow and then it speeds up and then it gets just, you know, he's like all over the place with the drums. It's just, I love that. And so, yeah, I'm glad, you know, we're in agreement on that one. But yeah, it's weird. It's like my favorite song is Flight of the Rat, but it is. I mean, you know, title notwithstanding, it's a great track.
I agree. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, my
Yeah.
question is like, this is probably the album they're best known for.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I only have one song from this album in my top 10, and it's Space Truckin'.
Mm-hmm.
It's just funny how we didn't really mention this album too much, and this is the album that they're known for.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is.
Well, just like when we, you know, Chris, when we did our Pink Floyd, you know, I had one song from Dark Side of the Moon on there. I didn't have any from the wall. You know, I think it's just sometimes it's just over familiarity. Sometimes I think, you know, some of their catalog is just underappreciated and overlooked. And, you know, those might be the radio hits that were easier to spoon feed to the masses. But, you know, I mean, I think it's a great album, but I like Fireball and In Rock. I think overall, I think they hold together better as an album.
But interestingly, when I did my top 35 of those songs from that album did make it in there, like Pictures of Home. I love that one too. And Maybe I'm a Leo. I mean, they're all good.
Leo is good. Yeah. Nobody mentioned Lazy.
Lazy's good too. I mean, they're all great.
Yeah.
It's just, they have so many great songs, but my favorite albums are those two. It's just
and then,
hard for me to go against them.
I'm looking on here too. The B-side, When a Blind Man Cries.
Oh, that's great.
That's a great song. And then
I like how Metallica did that too.
Yeah, I have the anniversary edition of In Rock, and it's got the original single version of Black Knight on here. That's a great
one too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you guys. I think definitely In Rock and Fireball are their two best albums, obviously.
Bloodsucker almost made it too.
Yeah.
I love this album to death, and we had 25. I think I would have had 2 or 3 off of here. I love Step by Step. You know, The Power of the Moon is great. Just so many tracks off here, and I felt like, God, well, I'm doing a top 10. Like, I can't put something this recent on here, but like top 25, yeah. I mean, I love the hell out of this, and the fact that it's 2020. You know, I mean, we're talking 50 years after In Rock came out and they still sound like this is just incredible.
Throw my bones.
Like it.
Love that. Love it.
Do you like it better than Now What?
Yes. I love Now What though, but this is better. This is great.
Yeah.
I really
like it. It's hard for me because I love this one too. And
Vincent Price.
I know it's like
Vincent Price is great.
Neck and neck for me, but you know, I Whoosh blew me out of the water.
Songs are on.
Whoosh is proggy.
You know? Yeah, it's good. It's really good. And I just want to mention one other song that didn't get mentioned. This album didn't, but I almost put the song Shield from this album. I really love Shield.
Mm-hmm.
So
the Rod Evans. The Rod Evans stuff is really good.
Yeah, there's a few songs I almost put from those, but I just like that other era better.
And none of us mentioned the Concerto album that came between the last Rod Evans album and In Rock.
Yep.
John Lord's whatever music he composed. But I think there's some live tracks on that album with a full band.
Yeah, I mean, they could have gone the way of the Moody Blues, you know, because that was the whole thing. I think it was John Lord was the one who instigated the whole, you know, let's do the concerto with the orchestra. And then Morris said, okay, well, for the next album, we're going to try it my way. And if it doesn't work out, then, you know, maybe we'll go back to that concerto style. But then obviously In Rock was just a fantastic album and they never looked back. But, you know, it's certainly interesting to think what could have been.
Yeah.
That was kind of ahead of its time too. Now all these bands are doing that, like Metallica and Kiss. They've incorporated orchestras in with them, and Deep Purple starts a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, that was a great list, guys. I had a lot of fun, and
that was fun.
There was so much overlap, and it's so funny, you know. And I was glad because I was looking at my list, like, I've got so much from Fireball, so much from In Rock. On here, you know, am I going to get taken to task because I don't have enough variety? I didn't pull from all the different eras, so I'm relieved that I wasn't the only one who kind of, you know, stuck to the favorites on that list. But
Yeah, well, like I said in the beginning of our video, I don't even know if this was taping when I said this, but I wanted to put some stuff from the latest albums, like What or Whoosh or something like that. But I just couldn't put it above the classic Ian Gillan stuff from the early days. So
Agreed.
I changed my list because I wanted to put Vincent Price on here.
And
So,
I know you said also you wanted to put Roadhouse Blues in your top 10 also, but
I hate their version of Roadhouse Blues. Have you? No, seriously. Do you like their version of that?
No, I don't know why it's
think
on
it's
there.
terrible.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't put Kentucky Woman though.
Yeah, the Neil Diamond song.
Which is actually pretty good.
Roadhouse Blues is terrible. It sounds like they're half-assing it and they have no emotion behind it.
Yeah, it's like at the last minute, it's like, oh guys, we need another song. What can we do?
Yeah.
And then, well, what do we all know? Roadhouse Blues. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll just
Are we rolling tape? Okay, let's go. And then
and I'll tell you what, we should probably do a top 10 of the Doors, but Roadhouse Blues is not really one of my favorite Doors songs.
Yeah.
I just think it's sort of, I don't know. I mean, for me anyways, I don't know. It's but yeah, that's another video, I guess.
Well, isn't that the song that says I woke up this morning, I got myself a beer?
Right. It's about Tipsy Tuesday.
I didn't start that early, but yeah. But no,
I just love that song.
but I mean, not to turn this into a Doors video, but I still like Roadhouse Blues better than anything off of Soft Parade, probably.
Oh, see, I love the title track, Soft Parade.
Do you? Okay.
I don't know. I like the movements of it. It's kind of proggy and yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll do a Doors top 10.
But I'm weird. Wishful Sinful is a great song.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got its moment. I like Wild Child too. I think that's
Touch Me.
But yeah.
The song.
Yeah. So maybe next time we'll do our Doors. We'll have to put that on our agenda for next time. But well, thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate you as fellow Deep Purple enthusiasts joining me on the top 10 video. And again, make sure that you check out Chris's channel and Aaron's channel. They've got a lot of great content also. Not only Deep Purple, but a variety of styles as well. That's what I love about both you guys is, you know, it's like, yeah, you love the heavy, but you also, you know, and Chris and I were joking, we got into a talk after we filmed our Pink Floyd episode about Thompson Twins of all things. You know, we had just done Pink Floyd and then we're talking about, oh, what do you think about Thompson Twins and their early stuff? And it's like, that's what I love, because I'm like, oh, you know, at least I know I'm not totally a weirdo in the fact that I love Pink Floyd, Black Sabbath, and Deep Purple, but I also like Depeche Mode and I like Thompson Twins and, you know, all that stuff. So
Depeche Mode's awesome. Well, listen, I mean, I'm being serious about this. I'm trying to build my Herb Alpert collection. I'm up to like 24 albums of his and I want to get everything.
Yeah.
So, Herb Alpert. What'd you say?
I have 3. It's not really my thing, but I get it.
Yeah, I'm sure you probably have Whipped Cream and other favorites.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Everybody.
Thank you.